BackgammonGalaxy.com presents Grandmasters Roasting Amateurs.
What's up, everybody? This is Marc Olsen from BackgammonGalaxy.com. Today we have a special video for you guys in the Grandmasters Roasting Amateur series. I'll be reviewing and debunking a YouTube video made by an amateur player where he's commenting on his moves and talking about backgammon strategy. This video has 40,000 views. It was published little less than 2 years ago, so hopefully it's an entertaining video, I guess, since it has that many views. And let's see if he actually knows what he's talking about or if he's just freestyling it. Okay, let's get into it. I'm just gonna make this full screen. The match is played on a strange server. I'm not really sure which one it is. I think he's gonna tell us. I'm used to playing on Backgammon Galaxy, the best software in the world, so we have to live with that. His name is Mark John. Oh wait, I forgot. Mark Jackson. Okay, nice to meet you, Mark. I'm a Mark as well, so that's good. Good name. Let's get started.
Hello everybody, my name is Mark.
Hey Mark.
A little bit different video than my normal investing videos. Gonna do a video on good backgammon strategy. Quick shout out to my friend Steve Miller, who's motivating me to do a video like this, and also hooking me up into some good backgammon tournaments in the Southern California area. So without further ado, let's get started. This is on the MSN zone here. And looks like I'm the black pieces and my opponent is the white pieces. I'm going counterclockwise. He rolled a 3 and a 2 here, and
there we already saw a beginner's move from the opponent. He played 13 to 8. Obviously, you gotta play flexible. Either bring 2 builders down, or you gotta make a split. Builder down from the midpoint and make the split with your back checkers. It's important to get the back checkers moving early in the game. Anyway, it wasn't Mark's play, so let's move on.
Now it's my turn, okay? Now with backgammon strategy, there are 2 things that are going to determine what kind of strategy you're going to use.
Good
One
move.
is the roll of the dice, and the other is how does your opponent play? What kind of strategy is he using? And rule.
Obviously, you have to play what the dice dictates. That's kind of obvious. I mean, the style of your opponent, if he means how the checkers of his opponent is, then I could accept his argument. I mean, you apply a game plan in backgammon as a function of how the checkers are on the board and what dice you get to move. So I guess it's technically not incorrect what he's saying, given that he means how his opponent's checkers are placed, not on the playing style of the opponent.
Of thumb is that if your opponent is using one strategy and he's up on a pip count, then you do not want to use the same strategy, right? But
that's true. If your opponent is up in the race, then you don't want to race. So your opponent's game plan would be to race, and your game plan would be, if you still have some offensive game plans, that is, if your opponent still has back checkers trapped, you want to either prime or blitz. Or if they're fully escaped, you want to play a contact game plan, which is aimed at hitting an opponent and turning the game around. So that's true. And by the way, we just saw a poor move from the opponent. He made a hit with 13 to 11 and didn't split his back checkers again. He played the rather useless 11 to 10.
are 5 different backgammon strategies that you have to pick from, and the dice and the board position and how your opponent plays is going to determine which of the 5 strategies you're going to use. Okay, so here it is, my turn.
Okay, I would say we have 4 fundamental game plans in backgammon: prime, blitz, race, and contact. The first 3 are offensive game plans. If they fail, you still have contact as the 4th one to try to turn the game around. I'm not sure which one is the 5th that he's talking about. Perhaps it's just a sub variation of one of the 4 fundamental ones. but maybe he's going to elaborate on that later.
Only got 30 seconds to make moves, and my opponent, he hasn't moved his back pieces, so that means I could probably play kind of a running game. Even though I'm behind in the pip counts, it would be okay for me to play a running game.
You're even saying it yourself, Mark. You're behind in the pip count, so why would you want to play a running game? Doesn't make sense. It even contradicts the correct thing you said just before, that if your opponent is up in the race, you don't want to counter that with a racing game plan. However, your move was pretty decent. I mean, you don't want to get trapped down on the 24 points, so you enter with a 5, and then the ace is not really, it's kind of destructive. You would prefer to just leave it there on the 24 point, since here on the 23 point you're stepping into the direct range of 4 checkers on the 8 point, and your opponent has a total of 10 checkers in the zone, which is a lot of blitz ammunition. But again, it's difficult to find another ace. The best ace would probably be 6 to 5, since this is a double match point, a 1 point match. So it doesn't really matter to lose a gammon, or it doesn't matter at all to lose a gammon. Therefore, you can play a bit more risky with regards to developing your position in the opening game. But I don't fault him for not finding the expert play, which is 6 to 5 with the ace. I think it's okay, the move he made.
That's one of the 5 strategies. It's the simplest of the 5 strategies. All you're doing is you're trying to get your pieces home quick as possible.
That's true. The race is the simplest game plan. However, it should only be applied by the one who's ahead in the race,
without getting hit in the bar. But he did just get double 4s now, so now he will probably move his back pieces at least to my 5 point, if not even completely out of the bar. So we'll see what he does. He does have an option.
He shouldn't move his back checkers. He should blitz. He has a lot of ammunition in the zone, 10 checkers. I think he should go for a blitz. He should make the deuce point, and he could make a loose hit from the midpoint, a double hit, or a strong tiger, or double tiger, as Grandmaster Michi would say. Let's see what he plays.
Opportunity to hit me. So he chose to hit me, so that means that I can continue.
It's not the best move, but it's not a horrible move either, because his opponent makes the 5 point, which is the most important point on the board, and he makes a point and he puts his opponent on the bar, so not a bad move. This was definitely a role that he should use for his offense, not like Mark suggested, coming up with the back checkers, which is also very good use of force, just not in this particular case. He should have used it for his offense.
With my running game, right? Because he's not moving his back pieces, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to...
Okay, Mark just says that he's going to continue with his running game. Well, Mark, you're down 19 pips after your move, so you're not going to play a running game. You did manage to find a decent move, but your game plan is not to go for a running game. You're going to stay back and wait for contact, and you're going to try to develop your own prime as soon as possible. That's your game plan, because you're down in the race, not up in the race.
Keep my pieces safe, and I'm going to let him...
Safety is always good, but since you're down in the race, you need to take some risks in order to develop your position.
Continue not moving his back pieces. So he's not playing the best strategy right now. If I was him, I'd be thinking about getting my back pieces out.
That's really true what Mark is saying here. The opponent is way up in the race, so it's a huge liability to not have any development with his back checkers. If just a couple of rolls more trapped on the 24 point, this is the 24 point by the way, then he would end up getting trapped behind his prime. So that's definitely true what Mark is saying, that he should try to develop those back checkers. However, he did get a roll that made a 3-1 that made the bar point and completed his 4 prime. So I guess he was playing the right plays, but Mark made a good observation.
Hold on, I got double choice here. That would be one choice, right? But I could also knock him in the bar.
Yeah, you definitely got a hit here, because we're down in the race and you want to trap that third checker down in your home board. The more checkers you have in your trapped in your home board, the better. Right now you just have 2, but by hitting, you would increase that to 3. So that's definitely an advantage. Furthermore, you would gain a lot in the pip count. So he has to hit with this 4-1, and the right idea would be to hit, and now you can play flexible because he's on the bar. So I think you just gotta play 2 checkers down like this. Even though you have 3 blots here in the outfield, you have full flexibility to develop your prime next roll.
Since I'm playing a running game, then that's exactly what I want to do. So I'm going to knock him in the bar, and true to the running game style, I'm going to make the safest move possible. So that's the running game. Get your pieces.
Yeah, if it was a running game that he was playing, then his argument would make sense. But since we're still down 6 pips, you shouldn't make the safe play, the running game play. You should play flexible and develop your position, and the best play would be to come down with 2.
Home quick as possible. Don't get hit in the bar, right? So it's all about making the safe moves, okay? So he got a 6 and a 2. He's going to bring his piece out.
Yeah, it's not all about making the safe moves. It's all about developing your position and trapping your opponent because you're down in the race.
And now I have a chance to knock him here. So I'm going to knock him. And I do have an issue with my back.
That's an interesting problem actually, because he could make the deuce point or he could double hit.
Pieces. My back pieces, he's got 4 primes, so I can only get a 1 or a 2 to get those out, right? That's one, this would be the better way to do it. Knock him in the bar and simultaneously create a blockade.
The problem with Mark eventually made the deuce point. It's not a bad play. I don't fault him for making this play. The problem is that he has 1 checker on the bar here that's gonna enter rather easily. Like, let's say he gets like a 4-2 or something. And it's kind of like he still has a lot of flexibility with his back checkers. You're not trapping anything with this deuce point. And he even has a lot of hitting numbers here to hit your blot on the 10 point. He has, let's count, he has all the 3s. Oh, what's that? He has all the entering numbers, so that's a 5, 4, 3, and a 1 alongside with a 3. So that's a total of 5, 3, 4, 3, 1, 3, double 3, and double 5. So that's a total of 8 hitting numbers with the move that he makes. Therefore, if he had made the double hit and just the loose hit here, he would only give 12 hitting numbers. That's 4 shots more, but he would have all 3 checkers trapped in his home board. So I think he just missed out on an expert move. But again, at least he makes something constructive out of it. He makes an inner point. However, since he's down in the race and still stuck behind a prime, you don't really want to blitz. And this is a very deep point, the deuce point. And when you have checkers trapped and you're behind in the race, purity is very important in that case. You want to go for the priming game plan. So the deuce point is a bit too deep, but the race is getting closer now. As we can see, it's almost evened out, so it's not that bad.
That's called tempo. If you're a chess player like my buddy Steve, he's easy. Steve here, he's actually a nationally ranked master, and he's a very good chess player. Certainly can beat me any day of the week.
That's true. We call it tempo in backgammon as well. A tempo is like 1 unit of time, and it refers to you taking away half of the opponent's roll when you make a hit. So you take a tempo away from him.
Weak, right? But it's always good when you can get those tempos, right? So that's what I do. Whenever I have a chance to knock him in the bar, simultaneously create a blockade. And that's normally the best move to make at that current time. So
true. If you can both hit and make a point, that's usually the right idea. True.
Anyways, moving on. My opponent, he gets a 5 and a 1. He's still got issues with his back pieces, but I also have issues with my back pieces, and so
yeah, I don't like the move the opponent made here. He's way up in the race, so he doesn't want to get stuck behind a prime. Even furthermore, it's not that even that he's outboarded. A very important tactical variable in backgammon is who has or the number of inner points made. And in this case, both players has two points made in their inner board. It's a 2-point board versus 2-point board. The player with the strongest inner board has the luxury to be able to play more aggressively and more boldly. In this case, it's not like the opponent is getting outboarded, so of course he should have entered with a 5 and then just played something flexible like 6-5. It doesn't really matter this blot out here when your opponent has a stripped midpoint and an underdeveloped home board. And look at this, you're not afraid of the blitz when your opponent has 3 checkers trapped all the way down on the deuce point, trapped behind a 4 prime. So I don't like that play the opponent made. He's kind of voluntarily letting himself get primed, even though he's up in the race and should be thinking about escaping, not getting primed. So that's good for Marc, at least.
Okay, this here is a tough choice, okay, because one move...
I agree, this is a tough choice. You have 2 choices. You can either make the 4 point, which is very strong and develops your position with your optimal spare checkers, or you can come down and make the 7 point, which is usually good. You clean up a blot and you make the valuable bar point, which blocks your opponent's 6s. In this case, the 4 point is slightly better, simply because you don't give up the midpoint, and after making the deuce point, your priming game plan is not that attractive anyway, so you might as well make inner points, which increases your blitz value rather than prime value. And the 4 point is still part of your prime, so it's not like you're giving up prime value to make it.
Move would be this, right? But the other move would be to try to get my back pieces out and to move him here, right? So here I have to do a little thinking, okay? I am losing in the pip count.
Okay, so Marc's reasoning of playing the deuce from 23 to 21 is actually spot on. The biggest liability in his position is these 3 back checkers getting completely primed. So the deuce from 23 to 21 is definitely a valuable deuce. The problem is, by playing that deuce, you don't have any 4 to play, so therefore we can disqualify it. Notice that 6-2 would be a horrible move, burying a checker, and also 7-3 would also be a bad move, since we prefer to make the 7 point rather than the 3 point. So therefore I kind of rule out any moves that includes this deuce, even though it's a good deuce to play.
So that means this would be the best move. Try to get my back pieces out. And maybe he will knock me. I actually want him to knock.
What about the 4, Marc?
The guy on my 7 point.
What about the 4?
Hopefully, if he does knock me, then hopefully I will...
Ooh. That was a bad move. That was a really bad move. Look what he just did. He just completely opened up his position. 4 blots ready to be hammered on. Oh, that was completely unnecessary. He gave up all of this structure just to be able to split with the deuce. It's just too much, Marc. That was a bad play. That was a big blunder.
Be able to play a back game. A back game is another one of the 5 strategies, and that would be the best case scenario. So he is gonna...
Okay, it wouldn't be the best case scenario to go into a back game in this game. The back game is more like a backup plan, definitely not a main plan. It's a variation of the contact game plan. It's the specific case when you have 2 anchors in your opponent's home board and you're way down in the race. The reason you need to be way down in the race, like 100 pips or so, is because otherwise you lack the timing to play a back game, which will result in you crunching your front position completely. Crunching means that you bury all your checkers on the deep points, so it's like you have like a mountain structure here in the deep points and open on the higher points, which means that if you hit your opponent, he just enters immediately and just runs home. Crunching is the worst thing that can happen in backgammon. The weakest structure possible is a crunch position. So in order to play the back game, you need a lot of timing, which you don't have in this position. The race is actually rather close. You're just down 12 pips before this move. Probably going to be more now since we're going to see some hits. And furthermore, you have made the deuce point. Impurity is the worst variable in a back game. You need to play super pure in a back game. So the fact that he's made the deep deuce point also hurt his equity in a back game. So for sure he shouldn't think about going into a back game here. That's a big misconception.
Knock me. I predict he's going to knock my 9-point piece into the bar. And he did just that. Now, the American dream is for me to get a 4. And I got a 4. And now...
the American dream. Good one. Oh. Wait. I think he should actually... Shouldn't he enter with the 4 and make the back game? Or maybe he should just hit.
Hold on, almost made the mouse error. So coming out on his 4, and now I want him to knock me into the bar. Okay, now I'm switching gears from the running game. I've been playing a running game, but due to the losing pip count, now I'm playing a back game, and I actually have a pretty good position here, and I think I have equal chances of beating him at...
Yeah. It's true that if you have a well-timed back game, then you are in a pretty good shape. I mean, here the problem is that he's made his deuce point, which is too deep. However, his opponent is a bit inflexible here, which could cause him some trouble in the long run. Yeah, I don't really think that he's in that good of a shape here. Yeah, I think it's he probably wins like a third of the games from this position, so I wouldn't call it good shape.
As he does.
If his back game was better timed, well, actually, with regards to the pips, it does seem to be well timed now, but the deuce point hurts him a lot. If these checkers were, let's say, on the 7 point, then he would actually have closer to maybe like 35-40%, but as it is, I would guess in the low 30s. He's definitely a big underdog in this position.
Of beating me, okay? And you will see as this game progresses how good the back game can do for you. The back game, and I'll briefly tell you what the 5 strategies are. The running...
Okay, wait, before he tells us what his 5 strategies are. The back game is one of the most complex game plans in backgammon. The reason is that you have so many checkers hit back in the opponent's home board, so you have a long game ahead of you, and all of a sudden the strategy becomes much more about long term rather than short term. So you're not really playing for the upcoming sequence, you're putting your checkers where they are best placed in the long run. Therefore, the back game is a very complex game plan. Just a quick remark here, the opponent should play as efficient as possible since it's now a back game, and he should hit here with a 3 in order to unstack his heavy 6 point, since stacked points gives way too much inflexibility, and flexibility and efficiency is everything in a back game. So he should break the mountain, as Michi would say, and furthermore he should fight to avoid the opponent for making a triple back game. A triple back game is very strong, so he could even be a favorite after he makes a triple back game, even though he does have some timing problems. But yeah, your opponent want to avoid him from making the triple back game.
Game where you try to get your pieces home as quick as possible.
Let me just rewind 10 seconds here, because I didn't hear what he said about the 5 main game plans.
Game, and I'll briefly tell you what the 5 strategies are. The running game, where you try to get your pieces home as quick as possible. Another one of the 5 strategies is kamikaze, where you just knock them into the bar with little or no regard to your safety.
Okay, that sounds like the stupidest game plan I've ever heard. Kamikaze, where you just knock pieces on the bar with no concerns to safety. I think maybe he's talking about the Blitz Attack. The Blitz Attack is when you attack and make inner points rather than make a prime, and you try to keep your opponent on the bar while you try to close him out or escape your back checkers. But this point that he said with regards to little to no safety, that's completely not the case. Safety is always an issue in backgammon. Otherwise, you would just get hit too much and be way down in the race and just end up where your only chance is a back game.
And then there's the third strategy is the primer strategy. That's the strategy that most backgammon players try to do. They just create blockades and try to outplay him, creating blockades and primes all over the board.
Okay, so far, assuming that the kamikaze means blitz, he's spot on. Race, blitz, prime. You don't want to make primes all over the board. You want to make a prime in your prime zone, which is mainly here from your 4 to your 8 point. And that's where you trap your opponent the best. So I'm not really sure what he means about primes all over the board. But yeah, okay, prime. The game plan of priming is definitely one of the fundamental ones. Let's hear what his last two are.
That's the basic primer strategy. Look at this. This is beautiful. I have the perfect back game setup.
True.
And I predict I'm going to win this game.
Okay, he didn't have time to give us the last two. Hopefully they come later on. I agree, this was a beautiful roll. It's still a problem that he has the deuce point. But now that he has the triple back game, it's pretty even Steven who's the favorite in this game.
Even though I am more than 100 down in the pip count, I predict I will come back and I will win this game due to this position that I have. Okay, so
I don't like him making the ace point. A triple back game is all about long-term flexibility, and killing 2 checkers leaves you with just 13 checkers left to move, and I think I would just play the 5 and hope to get hit so I can get it recirculated actually, and play the 6 from outside.
We'll see if this holds true. Okay,
Ooh.
because there's always the dice, right? The dice, sometimes they're your friend and sometimes...
That was a very ugly 6-2, so he had the choice of either leaving the back game, or the triple back game into a normal back game, or bury a checker and putting a dilly builder here on the deuce point, which is really, really bad. I think I like his move simply because the triple back game is too valuable, but this builder here hurts us a lot in the long run. The only use that it will have is to play an ace from 2 to 1 and try to make the ace point a point that we don't really even want to begin with. Perhaps we could play the ace from 2 to 1 and get hit and have the checker recirculated at some point. That would probably be a good case scenario.
You're not, but this is a very good position for my back game. Okay, if you see at the top there on the black pieces, remember, and I've got 3 primes in on his bar. Okay, so that is a very good deal for me. So he's going to have a very difficult time bearing off, and at some point I'm going to get a chance to knock him into the bar because he's going to run out of moves, and then he will open himself up, and then I will have a field day with him. So
a field date. Yeah, but everything he says is true. That's what he's hoping for, and he has excellent chances of hitting a checker. The problem is that good timing means that you're neither underdeveloped nor crunched. So when the shot comes, and hopefully it could even be a triple shot now that he has a triple anchor, you would have preferred to have a bit more pure prime already built here. So that might be a problem that you hit him, but you're underdeveloped, so he can just enter from the bar and run back to safety once again.
We'll see how that happens. Okay, so here I got kind of a bad roll. Okay, this here was a bad roll for me because
the rolls that he wanted was to come out with a 6 with this one, so he preserved mobility. He doesn't want to put more checkers down into his deep points.
Now I just used up my temples.
Ooh, why did you do that? That move didn't make any sense to me. He could just make the 4 point and play 6-3. He didn't have to bury another checker down on the ace point. Moving checkers to the ace and deuce point in a back game is very, very bad.
And now if I get a 6, I have to open up his 21 point. So we'll see what happens.
No. If you get a 6, you're just going to jump out with the spare checker. That's what it's there for.
Okay, that's a good roll for me because now that gives me an extra out.
Actually, this 3-1 from the opponent, he cleared the 8 point, which is the standard play. It looks completely natural. The thing is, when you're playing a back game, especially a triple back game, you have such a long game ahead of you that it doesn't really matter with short-term safety. All that matters is long-term safety. And since his opponent has 2 blots in his inner board and just a 2-point board. He's super underdeveloped. He could actually just play as flexible as possible, and the most flexible play here would just be to leave a blot on the 8-point and just flex it with 6 to 5 for full flexibility. In that case, you would have and actually kind of hoping to get hit to recirculate.
Here, so now I can get out with a 5, and now the game is rolling, and I still have a very nice advantage here in the backgame strategy. So anyways, back to the 5 strategies here. First strategy, the running game. You get your pieces home quick as possible. Second strategy, kamikaze, and that's where you just, okay, that was a bad roll for me. Look at all those.
I'm still waiting to hear the 5 game plans. We've only heard 3 of them. We keep getting interrupted by his dice. But okay, hopefully he'll make it at the end. So double 3, he should just do anything but bury checkers.
Temples that I have to use. Okay, so I'm going to do this and try to keep that open for me, because I do not want.
Why did you want to destroy your 6-point here? It's going to be difficult to make the 6-point again. Why not just play the last 3s from 8 to 5 rather than putting that checker where it doesn't belong?
I'm going to open that up at this time. Okay.
That was a bad move.
So that sometimes the dice are just not your friend. Even though I have a great position, sometimes it just doesn't work out. Okay, that is a much better roll. Now I create lots of block. I got 4 primes in.
Yeah, this is not that bad actually. You would have preferred these 4 points to be from your 3 to your 6-point. Then you would have a very strong prime, and after a hit you would be a favorite. But in this case, he's made the deeper points, which makes it possible for opponent to enter and escape the prime immediately. So it's not really a prime in this case, it's just 4 inner point. But nevertheless, considering that he had those ugly dilly builders on the deuce point, this is a pretty efficient structure with 8 checkers. So he's still in the game. He's perhaps even is he a favorite here? He could be a favorite. I think actually, yeah. If he didn't have the ace point, if he had the 6-point made instead, I think he would be a favorite, because this triple back game is very strong. But in this case, I think I would still take the opponent's side.
In my bar. Okay, so he's getting good rolls though. I mean, a 2 and a 1, you can't ask for a better roll.
2-1, that's a pretty good roll.
Okay, in his position. So now he has. Okay, yeah, see?
That's
the dice are not my friend, ladies and gentlemen. Double 6s normally are a good roll, but now I have to open myself up. I don't have a choice.
Yeah, double 6 is bad because it's too many pips. You prefer just to move fewer pips and preserve the triple back game.
Here, so the dice are turning against me. I don't like you.
He did make the right move though. I mean, he's supposed to maximize contact, so the rearmost anchors are better than the frontmost anchor, so he did make a good move.
I had a good position and I should have easily won this game, but all those big rolls just did not do me well.
I wouldn't say you should have easily won a back game position. You were probably an underdog throughout the entire game when we entered the back game. And you still have pretty good possibilities actually. It's not decided yet at all. Opponent has 9 checkers still to clear.
So I still am not. I mean, the game's not over. I still have a decent chance.
Correct.
Well, maybe not decent, but I still have a chance. And
4-2.
I guess if I were going to rate it on a scale,
very good play here that he just slots the 2 open points, ready to make them next time. And it was a good roll because he was able to preserve his anchors and not bury any checkers. To bury a checker is to play it up where it has no use. If a checker is here on the 4-point, there's no new open points for it to go to. So that would be a buried checkers, and that's what we're always trying to avoid in backgammon.
Or something. That there is a good roll. Now I have a better chance of winning this game. Okay, because he has to move those 5 guys.
Yeah.
Now
it's even Steven now.
I'm okay moving a guy out. I am totally okay because now if he hits me in the bar, I can come out and knock him.
Good play.
So there you go. Look at this. Okay. This is good. This is very good for the purpose of this video. See, now you're going to see how easy it is for me to knock him in the bar. All I have to do is get a 3, or I can get a 2 and a 1, And let's see if it...
Let's count the numbers because it's not that easy as you might think. You have the direct threes here, which is 11 out of 36. And then you have the combination hitters where you hit with an ace and either enter with a deuce, a 4 or 5. So that's 2-1, 4-1 and 5-1. That's a total of 6 extra additional combinations. So that's a total of 17 hitters out of 36. So you're still an underdog to make the hit in this case, and it's slightly worse than having a double shot. A direct double shot is 20 hitters, but it's almost a double shot that we have here. But we still need to get lucky to hit it.
Happens. I got a 6 and a 1. The dice are not my friend.
No,
the dice just are not my friend. Okay, that's
unlucky.
the worst possible roll that I could have gotten.
Alongside with double aces and double sixes.
Okay, so what are you going to do about that? So, and he gets a good roll. He got a 5 and a 3, so he bears off the 3 and he moves this guy 5, and
good
he's
roll.
Still playing it safe. And lo and behold, I get a 6 and a 2. So my back game was ruined, even though I had excellent chances.
That's an unlucky move because roll because he preferred to enter on a 3 or 4 or 5 to have more contact value and flexibility with the back checkers in case that opponent has to move. For instance, gets a 6-4, he would get a double shot, but with the 6-2. He doesn't get that flexibility with the back checkers. However, I don't think he should move it out because this spare checker is useful here to try to split it next time. I think he should have just come down with the 6, which is also a builder for the 5 and the 6 point. But it's probably not a big mistake.
The dice just did not work out for me. Now, the last hurrah. I have to get a 1. If I don't get a 1, then I resign.
Let's get that ace.
So, the game goes on, and
got
I
the
finally
ace.
got some luck. Okay, but he's been getting lucky all freaking game.
Yeah.
And knowing him, he'll knock.
Wait. He's got to bring a builder down, of course. You want to maximize your numbers next time to make those the 6 and those points, the 6 and the 5 point. Doesn't make any sense not to bring down builder.
Well, there you go. 6 and a 1 knocks both my guys in. But
double
actually,
hit.
you know what? That's not that bad right here in this situation to knock me both in, because now...
It's true, it's not that bad. You get more contact because your checkers get hit back. Just don't roll an ace. You prefer to enter with both so you have full outfield coverage.
I got more pieces, and I can kind of
Good roll.
make it very difficult for him to get that last piece there.
Yeah.
Okay, so my chances are still available.
By the way, notice that the problem of having the deep points made, we just saw it, your opponent just entered immediately and he was away, he was out. If he had a stronger prime here, it would be much more powerful.
I still got some chances. They're small, but they are there. Now, okay, got to do some calculation, right? 4, 4, and 4. Okay, there you go. 4, 4, and 4. Now I got him 5 prime. Now my chances are getting better and better, but he can...
Good move. He saw the cover. Yeah, good move.
Still get a 6. Oh, look at that. He got double 6s. The dice, ladies and gentlemen, are not my friend. Okay? I lost this game purely on the luck of the dice. And there's nothing I can do but to resign. So...
That's true. Yeah, he's lost the game. That was a game winner, this double 6. What a gigantic joker from the opponent. Okay, he lost the game. Okay, let's hear what he has to say. Maybe he's gonna tell us the last 2 of his 5 game plans.
Congratulations. Enjoy your dice victory there, schmuck, whoever you are, guest. I guess you call yourself guest 6QRNHKZ. I call you lucky schmuck. Okay, you won completely on the dice. I had a better position. I had the back game, but I want to just say, really,
you don't have the better precision when you have the back game. You still have the worst of it. However, I kind of think that Marc seems to be a better player than the opponent. And their ratings also seems to indicate that. But Marc, you didn't really play that well yourself, and you made some big mistakes, and you weren't even a favorite in the back game. So yeah, that's just the way it goes.
Quickly, okay. The way the 5 strategies are: number 1,
here it comes,
the running game. Get your pieces home quick as possible.
Correct.
Number 2, kamikaze.
Let's
Knock
call
them
it
in
Blitz.
The bar, with little or no regard to your safety. Number 3,
except for the safety part, knocking the opponent on the bar is true. So let's call it blitz. So we have race and we have blitz. So far so good.
primer strategy. That's where you just create blockades, as many as you can, and try to outplay them and hopefully box them into your bar. And then number 4, the holding strategy, which I did not get a chance to talk about, but that's where you create one prime in his bar. It creates an exit, or a safe spot for you to get out. And then
yes, that's the holding game. I would put that in contact, the contact game plan. You're down in the race. Your opponent has escaped all his back checkers, so you have no offensive game plans. And now you're down to your last hope, which is to hit a turnaround shot.
Finally, the last one was the back game, which you saw.
Okay, so he puts the back game as the 5th fundamental game plan. Normally you would say a back game is part of the contact game plan. It's just a variation, whether you have a advanced anchor holding game, if you have a deep anchor game, or if you have a back game. It's all variations of the contact game plan. That is, you have no more offensive game plans. But fair enough, if he likes to divide it into 5 game plans, I think that's completely fine, and it makes sense.
Okay, so I'm not going to continue this video. I will play this game of backgammon, but I am going to end this video, and maybe I'll do some more backgammon videos. So again, quick shout out to my friend Steve Miller. Thank you for hooking me up in some good backgammon tournaments, and I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Mark. That was a good show. I hope all you guys enjoyed watching this video. A Grandmaster of Backgammon, roasting an amateur. I hope I wasn't too rough with Mark. I have a great deal of respect of him making a backgammon video like this. We need more of that. So all the power to him. And it was great entertaining, and hopefully we got some of the wrong ideas corrected, so new viewers will have a better idea. And obviously I have to recommend Backgammon Galaxy, where you can play and let me show you here. When you play, you can also analyze your matches afterwards, and that's gonna help you improve your game tremendously. And we also have a lot of backgammon videos here in the academy, section. So that's all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you next time. Bye.
Grandmasters roasting amateurs. BackgammonGalaxy.com. Play among the stars. Available on browser, tablet, and smartphone. Subscribe to see more backgammon videos. Tell us which backgammon videos you want to see.